Welcome back. We're in conversation with Mr. Sudhakar of Mastek, and we're having a long chat about how this recession is probably going to throw up some opportunities, which takes me to the whole talk about acquisitions. You did a couple of them in the last 2 years. How do you think you are poised to do some acquisitions at a time like this? I'm sure companies are going cheap.
We look at acquisitions as a strategic tool in our armory that when we bought, let's say, STG last year, it gave us core capabilities in an area that we didn't have. For instance, we are very strong in life, pension and annuity end of the insurance business. STG gave us the general insurance or the property and casualty end of the business. So that acquisition worked extremely well for us. In fact, STG is growing at more than 25% this year, even in bad recessionary times. So we are on the lookout. Our entire strategy has been to look at specific verticals. So insurance and government are two verticals that we are in. We're planning to add something in the healthcare space, given that we have a huge experience base in the National Health Service system in the UK. So we're looking at creating some IP, buying some IP in that area. So we have a pipeline of candidates, and we would look at acquiring companies which complement our capabilities in insurance, as well as give us new capabilities in healthcare.
But what you just said, that means it's the UK market that would be ripe for that?
No, actually it will be the US, because in the UK the entire health system is actually nationalized, so it is a national health service. So
you haven't found anything yet there?
In the US? So no, there are a pipeline. Now, acquisitions unfortunately don't, sometimes the company that you want may not be willing to sell. So it is a process that you go through before you get them on board.
But is it easier for a company like Mastek to do an acquisition at a time like this in terms of leverage becoming not quite a big option?
I think, the evaluations will definitely be more attractive now than it was 2 years back.
That's right.
And Mastek has a very strong balance sheet. So our ability not just to fund it ourselves, but also to raise debt is pretty strong.
What kind of cash are you sitting on there?
We're sitting on something like 200 crores of cash today. Yeah.
Okay, and that should be good enough to cater for any acquisition?
That's right. Yeah.
But typically in the insurance solutions business, so what's the size of a company that you would find befitting to purchase?
We would typically look at companies in the $20 to $30 million revenue range. So these companies would go at 1.5 times sales as the value.
Does a recession pose the risk of being too narrow when you're looking at, let's say, the insurance solutions? Does that actually pose a bit of a downside when you're so fixed on a niche business, or does it actually give you the ability to leverage, because then you're more recession proof than others because you're not a general company, you're specific?
Yeah, I think in any time when you're a smaller player, focus is always better than being all over the place. So why we chose, we had expertise in building solutions across a wide variety of industries, but we chose to focus on a couple of industries because, one, it reduces our sales marketing cost, it becomes more efficient. Second, it actually builds up a reference base and word of mouth within the specific industry. For instance, if you take the UK today, Capita is the leader in business process outsourcing and insurance, and they have standardized on Elixir as the platform. So as they win new accounts, the Elixir as a solution is becoming very well established in the UK market. So today it is almost like if anyone else wants to transform their legacy system and put in a new policy admin system in place, the only show in town is actually Elixir, which is from Mastek. So that actually helps. If we were in 20 different industries, then we'll not have that focus, we'll not have that dominance in a specific sector.
And therefore the recall value of the company also sort of that goes down. What is the plan to scale up? Like you said, it's a good time to think of valuations, it's a good time to talk about the recession. But how do you think you can scale up from where you've come? And what will make you into a multi-billion-dollar revenue generating company?
The segments that we are focused on are niche, but they offer huge potential. The insurance solutions market worldwide is about $9 billion. Now, we have a very good chart at becoming a top player, a top 2-3 player in the insurance segment, which means that itself is a $500 million type of opportunity that we are sitting on. If I take government, it's even larger. So we actually narrowed down even within the government to specific departments, specific functions that we will build expertise in. Healthcare again is huge, especially in the US, in the UK. So the segments that we are focused on are all segments where there is a need for latest solutions, because all of them are sitting with very old 20-30-year-old legacy systems which are creaking. In fact, if you see the reason for the meltdown, I look at it in a different way, that at the base of the meltdown, there is a failure of systems. So if you take loan origination systems or underwriting systems, they've actually failed. And that infrastructure needs to be put back in place in the large companies. So there's a huge opportunity to build new systems, and very few companies in the world are today equipped to build new systems.
That's right, but you know, the flip side of it is that most people are anticipating that the banking, insurance, finance sector is actually going to cut down its IT spend.
Yes, they will.
So if they do, then the pie is small.
No, the pie is not small, because what actually happens is today 80% of spend is on keeping the lights on, which is maintaining the current legacy, and 20% on new initiative, transformation initiatives. While the overall budget comes down, we expect that the allocation for new initiatives has to go up if the company has to succeed and survive. So we see that the share of the pie in new initiatives will almost double. For instance, the CIO of HP made a call that instead of spending 80% on maintenance and 20% on new development, his strategy is to spend 20% on maintenance and 80% on new development. Now that's a huge shift. I don't think insurance companies will make that large a shift, but even if they double from 20 to 40, it actually doubles our addressable market. So the potential for new systems is going to be very large in the next 5 to 10 years.
I gauge from your chat about the whole insurance sector that somehow emerging markets haven't yet reached that stage of doling out bigger businesses?
In terms of numbers, we have a very successful insurance practice in Asia, but the value per deal tends to be smaller because the dollar value of these companies, the annual premium income that they generate, tends to be much smaller than the international majors.
So does that then mean that you would also take a little longer to get out of this recession purely because you're based on developed markets?
That's right. And so, see, we have been in business for 26 years. We are not in it for the short run. We're going to be here for decades to come. So a few years here or there does not really matter. But what we're really looking at is today we have 100 insurance companies as our customers across the globe, which is a very significant base. There are very few companies worldwide which have this level of customer base in insurance. It's not only mining and ensuring that we add value to these 100 customers, but we are saying the top 500 insurance companies are actually our customer base across the globe, and we should be a significant value provider, a significant IT solutions provider to this segment on a global basis.
Great.